Let's begin. So my name is Christina Macias. I've been teaching at LAX location. This is mobility for climbers. This is going to be different than yoga. I use similar principles to yoga in addition to others, but this is a class about attention. I want to fine-tune your attention to three things that are happening in every moment. Attention is our thought. We're paying attention to what's happening inside, what's happening outside. And that brings me to a breath pattern that's happening in relation to that thought. And then that brings about a posture or a physiology change, blood pressure, whatever that is. We've in-depth trained the mind, say, for climbing, right? Mental training for climbing. We have in-depth training for physical training of the body. And then the breath, although it is accompanying all of these actions or all of these things, it has not had its space in the training realm. And so this is about training the 10 pounds of breathing muscles, which are also your core musculature. And this is not just about soft, relaxed breathing. It's about changing the speed, increasing the movement of the body, and using that to pay attention to the sensations and the subtle actions and things that are happening. And when I can fine-tune my attention to my body, I can bring that to the wall, and I'll be giving specific examples to that along the way. But this also applies to life, and you're going to take these awarenesses that you build with the questions that I ask, and you're going to take that to your yoga class or anything else that you do. So we're going to begin on the back, and I want you to lie down, and I want you to close your eyes. We're going to start with the breath. And I want you to start by noticing the natural rhythm of your breath. I want you to actually place your hands on the bottom of your ribs. So the heel of your hands are on the sides of your body, and the fingertips are just above the belly, kind of in that empty space between the bottom ribs. And I want you to breathe in and out the nose. And I want you to notice where the breath wants to go. So like I said, there's three things happening in each moment. How can we guide our mind to a mental image of the breath rather than questioning what is happening, right? Words versus imagery. When we can imagine ourselves on the route rather than going just words. You can do it. If you can imagine yourself there, that's going to bring your body with you. So what is the natural rhythm of my breath? Can I feel that inhale expand into the heel of my hands? Can I feel the inhale draw down towards my hips, towards the organs? Now, in and out the nose is just one of the four pathways. Now, I want you to inhale just a little bit more and try to find an inhale right before you feel tension in the face or the shoulders. What is that inhale that's just enough? And the exhale is relaxed. Keep breathing in and out the nose. Again, noticing where the breath wants to go. And this is the most subtle aspect of the breath, the one we're probably walking around with. Obviously, it's going to feel a little different when we're standing up. But no matter what position our body is in, that breath should move down towards the sit bones and out into the fingertips, into the heel of the hands. You can even imagine a teardrop as you inhale. It expands down and out. And exhale just relaxes in towards the spine. Now we're going to shift the breathing space. So we're going to go in through the nose and out through the mouth. And breathing in just enough before you create tension. It's not a fast breath. There's even a moment's pause between the inhale and exhale. Not trying to inhale too much or exhale too much. And in that inhale, can you feel your inhale and your ribs expand in all directions? In through the nose, out through the mouth. Now we're going to change to in through the mouth and out through the mouth. Notice as you shift the pathway of the breath, did the breath and the space it moved change? Can you still bring it to that same space? In through the mouth, out through the mouth. Still breathing in just enough air. A few more breaths here, in through the mouth, out through the mouth. Now we're going to go in through the mouth and out through the nose. In through the mouth and out through the nose. Now it's important as we go through all these pathways to notice if the breath changes in those first few breaths as you shift the pathway. Can you still bring it to the same space in the fingertips and the heel of the palms and the hands? Breathing down towards the belly button, towards the sit bones. Breathing just enough air. So before you cause tension. In through the mouth, out through the nose. And then let's in through the mouth, out through the nose. Now in and out the nose. And let the breath flow here. Don't try to inhale any more than it wants to. And watch where the breath wants to go. This is this thing we're going to come back to, this control versus observation. Both are important. Just allowing the breath to settle. Noticing if it changes. Can you feel the ribs, even in this subtle breath, expanding and relaxing on the inhale and exhale? And I ask these questions because in the future, as you repeat these patterns, you'll have the answers. If you don't have an answer now, if you don't have a sensation or a feeling, if you put mileage in these things, that the answers will come. So now we're going to extend our arms overhead. Extend our legs out. We're going to take an inhale down towards the sit bones. Exhale, stretch in both directions. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale, stretch. Fill up the whole spine. Hold the breath. And exhale. Inhale one more time, stretch. And exhale, relax. Keep the arms overhead. We're just going to do some passive rolls, just a couple each side. So let's take that left leg, reach it up, and point with the big toe. Reach it up and across the body. Press the big toe to the floor, and then sweep that left leg back towards the right. And we're going to lift the left leg up. Again, reach it up and back. Press the big toe towards the floor, and then slide the feet together. And your arms will kind of flop over. And you can do that with the right side. Reach the right leg up. Reaching with that big toe over and across. Press that big toe to the floor and then slide those feet together. Right leg up. Reach it across. Big toe to the floor. Slide it together. Good. And then let's come onto the belly. And then actually we're going to come back into child's pose. So I want your thighs to be supporting your outer ribs. So now we're going to get into this exhale strength. And so all these patterns that I'm teaching you and these pathways we're going to be applying with movement in just a bit. So as you lay in child's pose and you feel the legs, the quads, supporting your outer ribs, your torso, I want you to inhale, still in that same space, down towards the hip bones, and feel the ribs expand into the quads. And I want you to exhale out the teeth, out the mouth, and try to exhale and engage those ribs away from the quads and the inner thighs, contracting the core. Inhale through the nose, and letting the ribs just expand out into the rib or into the thighs. Exhale out the mouth, and feel the contraction of the ribs. away from the thighs. It's not a spine movement. I'm not moving my spine. And keep going. Inhale, pause for a moment. Exhale, hissing. We're trying to connect the exhale with the core. This is going to be an important part of the core strength. Pause at the end of that exhale. Feel that contraction of the ribs, and then inhale. Allow them to relax out and expand into the thighs. One more exhale here. Hold it out for a moment. Squeeze, engage the abs. Inhale, relax it out. And exhale, let the breath just flow naturally here, in and out the nose. And just for a moment, as the breath finds its natural rhythm, it's always important to allow it to go back to a state of observation and relaxation. Remember that the ribs are a part of kind of a trifecta in the back. So in this moment, can you feel the inhale expand into the back body, into the back ribs? And that space between the shoulder blades, you have your ribs, your spine, and your shoulder blades. All can work independently of each other and then work together to create your overhead strength and your grip strength. So the ability to feel the back ribs expanding and contracting on the inhale and exhale is an important part of your shoulder strength and mobility, rib mobility. So let's slowly come on up onto the heels. Slowly rise up. Shake it out a little bit. And now we're going to go into two different types of breaths. We're going to first get onto the hands and knees while I describe it. We're going to spread through the fingers. And we're going to be circling around the wrists. So make sure your knees are underneath your hips. Spread through those fingertips. Rhyming. I want you to press into the toes and give an exhale and feel that lower abs engage. And you're going to inhale, forward, exhale back. Inhale, come forward, and exhale back. And so what you're doing now is called anatomical breathing. It's practice in yoga. Keep going in this direction. It's similar to yoga. I match a breath with the movement. And the focus here is, can I actually time my breath with my movement, or am I just going through the movements when somebody asks me to do this? You can switch directions. Inhale forward, exhale back. You can change it to inhale for one full circle and exhale for one full circle. So there's many different patterns that can apply. But when I actually add the awareness of my breath to these movements, it changes the interaction between my body and the movement. So a couple more here in this direction, and find a breathing pattern that's better for you. Inhale forward, exhale back. Or inhale for one circle, exhale for one circle. And then shake out the wrists. And then we're going to bring the fingertips towards you, palms up, do the same thing. And find that same breathing pattern. Find what's comfortable for you. Inhale forward, exhale round back. Can you imagine that the breath is leading the movement? When the inhale comes, the body moves forward. When the exhale comes, it comes back. Keep going this direction, a couple more. Timing the breath. And switch directions. And so if you feel like you're a little out of breath or have a sense of air hunger, this is normal. As you're training your body in this kind of CO2 tolerance. So my ability to manage my oxygen in a state of stress. And again, this type of training also applies to the wall. So keep going in the other direction. So I can train my movement to match my breath here, my breath to match my movement. That automatically happens everywhere else. So go ahead and relax, shake it out. And we're just going to move the shoulder blades now. So fingertips back on the floor, palms down. I want to tension my feet into the floor so my abs are engaged. And pinch the shoulder blades together. Inhale. Exhale, spread them apart. Inhale. Exhale. Make sure your shoulders are going away from the ear. Can you bring your shoulders over the wrist, over the palms, over the fingers? How far forward can you bring your shoulders? Exhale to round, hollow out the chest. Inhale.
Now I can slow down the breath. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Keeping the tricep nice and strong. I want you to slow down the breath, keeping the tension. Inhale, exhale. Good. And shake it out, relax. All right. We're going to do one more wrist exercise. We're going to be on the wrist today. So let's take the heel of the hand. And we're going to come to the base of the fingers. You're going to inhale, lift it up. Notice how my shoulders stay over my palms. Slowly lower down. Take about 3 or 4 seconds. Exhale. So the inhale's a little quicker. Through the nose. Exhale. You can exhale the nose or the mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, slowly lower. Keep the shoulders over the wrists. You'll feel that in the forearm. Notice if you want to bring your shoulders away from the wrists. And just try to keep it forward. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more. Good. And a little cat-cow heel. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round. Tuck in the chin, tuck in the chest. Use your exhale to create tension and compression. Keep going. Inhale. Drop the belly. Exhale. Round. And so less about the structure of the movement, more about the timing of the breath here. Can you let the breath lead the movement? I inhale and then I start to drop the belly. I exhale and I begin to round. We're practicing the timing involving thought, breath, and movement in this interaction. A couple more here. Last one. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, round. Inhale, come to neutral. And exhale, tuck in the toes and hover the knees above the floor and hold. So I want you to inhale in and out the nose here. And notice as you hold here, where your breath wants to go. Where does it want to displace? Can you breathe into your side ribs? And keep the tension. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And relax. Shake it out. And what's up? Perfect. So last breath exercise, before we get into some movement, is the pelvic floor. So this is the root of my strength. My ability to exhale and compress and create tension from the space below my belly button. So we're going to use this pattern. We're going to inhale for 3. Hold. Exhale the teeth. And try to compress the abs away from the hand. And this is going to be applied to the movement. So gather the pattern first, and then we can apply it to the action. So you can see me. I inhale. Exhale. Contract and compress my abs. I can even squeeze my glutes if I want, in whatever position you're in. You can be on your heels. You can be up on the shins, whatever's comfortable. Inhale. Exhale. Hold. And can you squeeze your pee and poo muscles, those fun muscles at the bottom of the core, of the pelvic floor? Inhale. And exhale. Good. All right. So we're going to move on to our little movement practice. So there'll be 4 exercises. And we're going to come back to that pelvic floor movement. So we're going to go beast to plank. So on the hands and knees for 30 seconds. You're going to try to keep your shoulders over the hands and head between the hands, or shoulders over the wrists. So you're going to inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So keeping the shoulders over the wrists. But again, the timing of the breath. Inhale, pause for a moment, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And push through the shoulders, round through the shoulder blades. Imagine trying to bring the thumbs together. Squeeze the thumbs together, press through the fingers. A few more here. Inhale, extend to plank. Exhale to these. Inhale, plank, and hold. Hold here. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Those muscles that we just used to engage my pelvic floor, use those. Exhale, inhale, and exhale. My exhales now create and accumulate tension for me. So still holding that plank. Good, and relax. Come on back onto the heels. So this is the other type of way that we use the breath. Mechanical breathing would be what we use for strength. When I exhale, to create tension. So now we're going to take that breathing pattern and we're going to make it a little quicker. So it's going to be like this. Inhale, exhale out the mouth. Now quickly gather those muscles. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So this is the root of my power. If I can draw breath in quickly down my spine, exhale, this is my core strength and also the root of my grip strength. My ability to create force quickly, which is power, force and velocity. Science. All right, so we're gonna try that again. When you are here, see if you can use that exhale to create more tension in the body. So, full plank, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Exhale, exhale. Working on the timing. A few more here. And notice how you can use your exhale to create tension each time. Create a tension. All right, a few more here. Inhale, exhale. And hold with the knees in, hovered above the floor. Good, and slowly drop the knees. Come back to the heels. Shake it off. So now that we've created tension in the body, we can get to the shoulder. So we're gonna grab our ball, towel, can, and we're gonna do what I call shoulder cars, so controlled articular rotations. I won't get into it, but we're gonna take the whole shoulder joint and build tension through the whole arm and move through the entire joint capability. However much I can move through this movement, that's how far I go. So if I can only go this far without moving my shoulder, right? So what is my true shoulder range of motion? So let's grab the ball, exhale, squeeze the ball. Feel this muscle underneath engage and feel the whole arm engage. Inhale, maybe relax a little bit, release that tension, exhale. Feel all that tension that we built here in the core, engage. Inhale, bring the arm up. Exhale, tension everything away. Inhale, exhale, rotate the thumb in. See, I'm still tensioning my arm. Inhale, exhale, press it down. Inhale, bring it up, hold here. Notice how I'm keeping the tension, even squeezing your glutes. So when I tension here, I can actually create a joint and not compensate. Keep going. So I'm squeezing this ball. If I'm coming here and I'm rotating my spine, that's compensating for my shoulder actually working. So tensioning through the whole movement. Keep going back and forth. Inhale, and when I exhale, squeeze the ball. Rotate the thumb in so that the palm is facing out. Inhale up. And exhale. And relax. So my exhale can accumulate tension in this movement. And that's what I want. I want my exhale to create tension in my body. So when I'm on the wall, let's go on this side, squeeze. My exhale does work for me. So inhale, place the hand here so you can feel the ribs press down. Inhale, rotate the thumb. Palm facing out. Hold here. Press down. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Create tension through the whole body. Inhale. Hold here. Squeeze the whole body. If you're accumulating enough tension, you should be sweating. Okay, inhale, exhale, and keep going. Slow, inhale, pause here. So pause at these points. Make sure your ribs are not moving with your shoulder. Rotate in. One more. Squeeze. I can make a fist with this hand. Whatever you'd like to do to create tension through the body. And then shake it out. So that's how I carve out a joint. I can do it with any part of my body. So we're going to go onto the hands and knees. And now we're going to move the shoulder a little bit. So I'm going to create the joint, and I'm going to work it. So you see me here. I'm going to get on my hands and knees. And I'm just going to take my hip and drop it down. I'm going to notice the pathway of my shoulder. So I'm going to come here, onto the hands and knees, drop my hip, my shoulder. My hip does not come far from that rounded arm. It's going to stay close. My shoulder's over my wrist. Drop it down, press into the floor so you feel all these muscles engage. The lat, the serratus, come onto the hands and knees. I can get this opposite hand here, just nice and tension by my chest. Press down to the hips lift up onto the hands and knees. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Right, so how can we use our breath anatomically and then also to create tension here? A couple more each side. All right, so now we're going to go to the cars again, but you can use sometimes adding a little bit extra tension or weight also helps. So grabbing a can, maybe like a 2-3 pound weight if you do have one. So you're going to squeeze the can or still use the ball. My other hand, I can press into the floor or into a block and then reach it back, inhale, or just a hand here, rotate. Palm will be facing out. Bring it up, rotate. So you're rotating that ball in the socket of the shoulder. Inhale, exhale. Notice if your opposite shoulder is moving side to side, and this is where we start to pay attention. As you repeat these things, you need 2 more, a couple more. As you repeat these things, you start to pay attention to how your body is actually moving in response to these actions. So one more time, let's bring it back. Pause here. Tension this other side, tension the whole body, exhale. Inhale, reach that back arm up, or the arm up. And squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Grip that can tight. And bring it back up and around. And then shake it out. Let's go on the other side. So tensioning through my whole body. When I can tension every single muscle, that tension or attention radiates to the area that I'm trying to carve out, which is shoulder. So we're doing about 4 or 5 each side. I want you to go at your own pace. You can go, the slower you go, the more you can pay attention and create more tension and figure out where you're releasing. So a lot of the times when people come up and over, their tricep relaxes as they come up. So they'll notice that their tricep turns on and off through the whole movement. As I'm moving, as I'm climbing, as I'm reaching, is my tricep engaging the whole time? It's a big part of my arm. Climbing. Pause here, and inhale, lift. Tension through the whole body, lift through the head, the chest. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Reach it back up. If any of you are cramping at all, that's normal. It means you've reached the end of the muscle's ability to do what it knows how to do. So this is a good thing. You're reaching the edges of your capacity. All right, let's go hip drops. So onto the hands and knees. Again, this is about timing of the breath. All right, so I'll exhale, inhale. As I transition, exhale to bring my hips down, and then up. Inhale, exhale. And notice how if your hip comes further away from you, can you keep it over you, right? Can you use these muscles here rather than getting into your neck, right? Shoulders. We want to be supported by torso. So a few more times. Move slow. Maybe you break down the breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. There's so many different ways to play with the breath in these movements. These are just principal patterns that you can take with you and explore. All right, you can go ahead and drop the knees. Come on back. A moment, shake it out. So for some of you who've been in my class before, you know the drill on this one. So we're going to go do the same thing with the shoulder, but with the hip. So we're going to take the block or ball or rolled up towel and place it behind the knee. We're face down on the floor. So we're going to first just squeeze the block. My hands are going to be down by my side, like the bottom of a push-up. Shoulders are away from my ears. My extended leg, so let's say my right leg is extended. My left leg is squeezing the block. I'm going to press that right leg into the floor. I want you to exhale, press your abs and your ribs away from the floor. Now exhale, squeeze the block, and try to hover your knee above the floor, squeezing the glute, not lifting so high that you lift from your back. So it's going to barely hover. Squeeze and hold. Squeeze, 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower. We're going to do that 2 more times, so stay there. Shake it out if you need to. Exhale, squeeze the block for 10 seconds. 9, 8, use the whole body, tension even into the arms. Exhale to push the ribs away from the floor and relax. 1 more time, squeeze the block. Exhale, press that right foot into the floor and lift that left knee up. Squeeze the glute. Lower abs engage. So paying attention to where you're creating tension and lower. Now we're going to bring the knee out to the side. So we're going to lift it up, bring the inner thigh to the floor. So that knee is above my hip. It's not below my hip. I'm going to really press into that left hand. Exhale, hover the knee, bring it back around. Inhale, lift. Exhale, out to the side. Press the knee into the floor. Inhale, hover it above the floor. Press down. Lift up and bring it around. Good, and shake it out. Now we're going to get the other side. Turn around for you. So we're going to take the block, squeeze it, extending out. So as you extend, I'm going to extend the left leg, top of the foot onto the floor, bottom of a push-up. Exhale, squeeze and lift for 10. So I use my inhales and my exhales and lower to create and accumulate tension and to make sure I'm not holding my breath during this movement. Ready? And squeeze and lift. In through the nose and short little burst out the mouth. Good, and lower. And exhale, squeeze the block and lift for 10. Squeeze the whole body. That left quad is pressing into the floor. How can you tension and squeeze this quad? And relax for a moment. And exhale, lift. Bring that leg out to the side. Inner thigh to the floor. And lift. Inhale. Exhale. Bring it back. You can exhale, lift. Inhale, bring it out to the side. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press the knee down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bring it back to center. Good. 1 more, lift. Exhale, bring it up. We're going to switch the breath. Exhale to lift. Inhale, down. Exhale to lift. Bring it back to starting position and extend it out. Shake it out. Let's come on back to our toes. Let's come back to a squat. Onto the heels if you can, and exhale, forward fold, shake it out. Really bend the knees. Shake it out. Bend the knees. We're going to do that again. But we're going to hold a stretch plank first. So just to counterbalance that a little bit. So we're going to go out for 30 seconds, extend all the way. You can widen to the width of your mat, hollow out the body, and hold. So this is another way to train the breath. As I hold tension, can I use my exhales to make sure I'm squeeze my glutes, pull my lower abs in, engage my arms. So I've just used that tension that I created in that shoulder cars to notice how I can exhale and tension my arms. Your exhale creates your tension. How can you get it to interact with your movement? Good. And you can walk the hands and feet together, forward fold for a moment. Let's hang here. So now when you're in forward fold, I don't want any space between your belly and your quads. So if you really need to bend, that's okay, but let it lay over your quads. Let's come forward and back. And so in this position, can I still breathe in the same direction towards my sit bones? So in this position, it'd be breathing up towards my sit bones. I can still feel my ribs expand. I can feel my back ribs expand. I'm heavy into my legs. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. And slowly roll up. Shake it out. We're going to do that one more time. All right, so on the belly, we're going to go left side first. Squeeze the block. We're going to do one 10-second lift, and then you're going to bring it out to the side. So tension through the whole body. Extend through the right leg. Exhale and lift. Squeezing the glute. Lower abs are in. I'm squeezing both glutes. That right quad into the floor, top of the foot, and bring it out to the side. Pause here. And you're going to exhale to lift the knee up and hover, and really pressing into that left arm. Exhale, lift. Inhale down. So you're going to feel that in the outer glute eventually. It may feel like dead weight right now. Exhale, lift. Eventually it will become alive. And exhale, lift, and lower. One more lift, and bring it back to center. Good. So this is the best exercise I've found for heel hooks. So making sure that let's come to the other side, that your hamstrings are engaging as you move your leg about the counter or around the rock. So let's squeeze and hold and lift, hold. Tensioning through the whole body, not just the hamstring. Squeezing both glutes. Left leg into the ground, left knee up. Bring it out to the side, or right knee up. And then bring it out to the side. And exhale, lift the leg. And down. Exhale, lift. And down. And one more time. Exhale. And bring it back to center. And release it. Bend the knees, just kind of windshield wiper them side to side. And come on back. Stretch plank. So 30 seconds, extending out. You can try to maybe go a little bit wider this time. Maybe try to get a little bit lower to the ground. Starting now. So how can you use your breath and cycle it through? We call it burst breathing. So in through the nose. You should not feel like you're out of breath. You should feel like you have enough breath, just enough. You're drawing it in to create tension. You got 10 more seconds. And using that exhale to tension your legs and your glutes and your hamstrings and the arms. The whole body is helping you. Just like on the wall. All right, and relax. All right. So now I want you to just go ahead and sit on the heels. If you need to take some blocks, you can do that. And we're just going to sit for a moment. We're going to come to a state of observation for a minute or so before we get into the next little thing, which is going to increase the breath rate a little bit more. So if you could close your eyes and come back to the feelings that you had of the breath in the beginning of the class today. Notice after all that activity, where does the breath want to go? Even as you increase your breath rate, can you still draw that breath down the spine and out, even feeling the bottom ribs expand in all directions? When you are stuck tight on a route, a slab, you cannot breathe into your belly. You got to be able to breathe into your back ribs. Having space for your breath, in the subtle breath and the more challenged breathing patterns, is super important. Where can I bring it? How can I displace the air in other places as I'm lying up against this rock? Or life. We're just letting the breath settle to its natural rhythm. Trying not to control it. And also trying to get a better sense and sensation of it. Our body speaks in sensation and feeling. The more we can define these things, the more we can feel, again, on the wall and fine-tune our attention in those spaces. Again, keeping the eyes closed. And even resisting the urge to open the eyes. And that's just the body still being in that sympathetic state. It's different reaction. But also being able to imagine and watch the breath as it settles down to its natural rate. The difference between imagining myself finish a route and then questioning whether I can. So I'm going to slowly open the eyes. We got one more set of 2 exercises. So this is really going to test your breath capacity. So this is something you can practice when you're running as well in typical locomotion. We're going to be doing a simple movement for 1 minute. And you're going to try to match the breath. And the movement's going to want to go faster than the breath. Or it's just going to not be able to catch your movement. We're going to see where you're at, where your capacity. Today was the reference point of where your body's at. So it's going to look like this. You're going to go to what people call a loaded beast. So we were in beast here. We're going to load it up. So sit back, kind of an active child's pose. Spring your hips forward and replace your hand with your foot. Inhale. My top of the inhale, my back knee is down. My chest is open. I exhale. And then I exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You're going to go for 1 minute. And you're going to try to move slow and beginning the minute now. So I'll do that with you. Exhale. Inhale. Maybe you try to go slower with the breath. This is not about how many you can do. Maybe I want to exhale. Inhale. Drawing the breath into my nostrils. Exhale. Inhale. If you're really good, you can do all this through your nose. Exhale. Inhale. Or I can go quicker. Notice how the pace of my breath can pace my movement. And so being able to time this and match this, keep going about 20 more seconds. If you need to slow the movement down, slow the breath down with it. You're training your breathing muscles to match your movement. And then you'll take this with you. And your breathing muscles, those pathways are what gets you up the wall. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And come on back. Sit back on the heels. If you have to, breathe out the mouth. Couple breaths in and out the mouth. Going back to those 4 pathways. Now in through the nose. Out through the mouth. So we're down regulating in through the nose, out the mouth, keeping that breath here. Drawing down. And then trying to get to a nose-nose breath. And this is an active recovery. You can do this in between sets of climbing, sets of exercise, so that you're actually also training the breath, the 10 pounds of, or give or take, of breath muscles that you have, and you're taking with you in these practices. So in and out the nose. And we're gonna go 30-second side plank. And we're gonna do that one more time and see if that timing of that movement will feel any different in that second round. So the side plank can just be on the forearm, or it can be fully extended. Just make sure that shoulder is over the elbow or the wrist. And you're going to exhale and lift. The hips are coming forward, reaching that arm up. Exhale, squeeze your glutes. So now you're applying all that tension you created with your exhale to this movement. If you're up high, I'm pressing into the heel of my hand and also into my fingertips, into my palms. I'm trying to open my chest up. 5, 4, squeeze the inner thighs together, lift the hips, and switch sides. Ready? And up. Lift. Can you tension the whole body? And use the exhale tension that we created with the arms today, with the legs. And when my inhale is still into my belly, my exhale creates more core tension. Maybe you can just breathe in and out the nose here. And lower. Good. And back onto the heels. 1 minute, closing the eyes. If you can, nose-to-nose breath. If you need to, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And so you feel like you can relax into a nose-to-nose breath. And so that feeling of air hunger is actually expanding your capacity for stress. I'm putting your body in stress, and you're having to maintain a nose-to-nose breath. My capacity to nose-nose breathe through all of these movements expands my capacity and oxygenates my body so that I can do way more, not way more, I can do things more efficiently. Let's say that, efficiently. It's not about more. All right, so one more round. We're gonna go that loaded little beast. Not loaded baby, that would not be a good name for it. Loaded beast to lunge. Inhale and exhale. And go ahead and start now. Start the breath off slow. Start the movement slow. Start the inhale and exhale to be a little longer. Inhale, maybe you just go through the nose. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then I speed it up a little. And my arms are nice and strong. Triceps are engaged. Keep going. You got about 20 seconds. You need to slow down the breath. That's fine. Now again, as you come forward, notice if your shoulders are rising up by your ears as you're getting more fatigued. What are your shoulder blades doing? And paying attention to all these parts as you're moving through these actions. It's a lot, I know. Good. One more, and exhale, come back. Come back onto the heels again. And in and out through the nose. Or again, find that pathway. Mouth, mouth, nose, mouth to nose, nose. How can you down regulate? And by doing this and creating that pathway, you're strengthening, again, the muscles of the breath. And the more I can nose breathe, the more I keep that pressure of that breath in, and it really expands and trains the ribs. And they're not a cage, they're dynamic protectors. In and out the nose. Notice if you can feel the ribs moving a little bit more. Maybe you feel the lower or the back ribs moving on the inhale and exhale. Or maybe you don't, that's fine. Let the breath settle. And we'll go side plank one more time. So either on the forearm, my fingers are facing forward or to the side. My shoulder is down the back, away from my ears. Extend and squeeze through the legs. Go ahead and lift. Reach through the arm. And I want to imagine pulling this elbow towards my hip. I'll feel the space of my torso helping me rather than my neck. On that. Pressing through the fingers, the forearm. Hold. Squeeze the glutes and lift. 10 seconds. Tension through the whole body, every muscle. And lower, switch to the other side. Ready? And up. My body is in a straight line, driving those hips forward and lifting them up nice and high. Squeeze those inner thighs together with an exhale. Press that forearm onto the ground. And breathe. 10 seconds. Squeeze the very top of the inner thighs. And lower. All right, so we're going to cool down a bit now. So let's go and bring our feet into this kind of 45-degree position for each leg. So my front leg is resting on the back quad. Now we're just going to move side to side. We're going to take our hands back behind you. And again, matching the breath with the movement, you're just going to inhale the knees up and exhale, drop them down. Inhale up, exhale down. Now inhale, exhale, and then rotate towards your right, towards that front leg. Inhale, bring the knees up, both hands back. Exhale, drop the knees to the left, and then rotate to the left. We're going to rotate a little bit more. So drop down, knees down, and rotate. Inhale, left hand back behind you. Chest up. Exhale, drop the knees down and rotate, looking over that shoulder. Inhale, bring the knees up, hand back behind you, and we're going to pause here. And we're going to come, and so that front leg, whether it's your left or your right, you're going to come into a plank, a forearm plank in front of that quad, that front leg. So on my hands and knees. Everything's black, so it's hard to see. Next time I won't wear black. So as we're in this rotated position, we're going to lengthen long through the spine. And we're going to try to breathe into that belly button and into the rotation. See if you can feel the inhale into the back ribs, into the spine. In and out the nose here. Lightly press both knees into the floor. The back inner thigh, the right or the front outer thigh. Inhale and then exhale to the lower belly from the beginning of class, that pelvic floor. Inhale, release the space below the belly. Exhale, engage the pee and poo muscles, the pelvic floor, hold, inhale. And exhale. Now inhale, come on up. And let's come to the other side. So opposite leg is in front. You're going to rotate so your forearms are in front of that front thigh. A few breaths here. My shoulders are not down from my ears and pressed into the ground. Forearms, elbows, fingertips. I want to try to breathe down along my spine so we can stretch out those muscles. And our exhale, we can contract the ribs. So we're going to be able to pay more fine-tuned attention to the intercostals, the space between the ribs. And then moving from the ribs again down to the pelvic floor. Now we're able to tension. This is essentially massaging my whole spine. Inhale to the space below the belly button. Exhale. You can go out the mouth or out the nose to create that tension of the pelvic floor. Inhale. And exhale. Those P and P muscles up towards the spine, up the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come on up. And then come onto your back. And extend the legs out. And we're just going to end where we started with breathing through those 4 pathways. We're going to do it a little bit differently this time. So follow me, eyes closed. Let's take an inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, mouth. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, mouth. Exhale, nose. Inhale, nose. Exhale, nose. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, mouth. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, mouth. And exhale, nose. Inhale, nose. Exhale, nose. Now inhale through the nose and hold. And exhale, slowly release. Now in and out the nose here. Let the breath flow. Allow the ground to support you. Now each exhale to let the body relax a little further into the floor. And take an inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. You can go ahead and stretch out in all directions. Wiggle the fingers, toes, stretch it out. And then bring the knees into the chest.
You can roll over to your side, up to a seated position. All right, so thank you for joining me today. That was first of many. That was an introduction to the breathing patterns. So it was a little different. It's definitely a different structure. So I recommend that you go back and try some of these exercises again and notice how your breath interacts with these movements. This is an important part of our practice, breath muscle training. And it's not very common, but it is just as important as the mental and physical aspect. It unites the two. So there are principles that need to be repeated in order to really be embodied and experienced. So again, thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next Thursday.